when we're creating software, this is kind of getting more to the business side. We'll often have stakeholders. So stakeholders are people with an interest in that software or in the business that has created that software or is using that software. Some examples of stakeholders would be owners, users, managers, shareholders, and employees, because they all have some interest or the other in that software and the way that that software functions. So anyone who is connected to a piece of software in any way, that could be financially or in terms of actually using that software, or just simply working on that software, is a stakeholder in that piece of software or in that business. Now, one thing we often want to do is get requirements from stakeholders. So requirements, as we touched on before, are the tasks that a program should be able to achieve. Now, oftentimes if we're getting requirements from stakeholders, it's probably going to be the users, any managers that work in a company, employees that work in a company. These terms aren't necessarily referring to the organization that makes the software, but these could also be like stakeholders. I mean, these stakeholders could also be an organization that's just using the software. So we need to go to them for getting the requirements for that software. Now, some way to get requirements for a software could be giving them that software, maybe giving them that software, or looking at the way that they use other software. And that can be done through direct observation. We can observe how they use a software system, either their existing software system or a new software system that we're giving them in the real world. So basically just watch them. One of the drawbacks of this is that users may act differently under observation. Although this data can be very useful, I mean, there's nothing better than seeing how users use software in their intended environment. Also, we can do interviews. We can ask users directly for feedback, which can be very insightful, but it can be costly in time and resources because you basically need to sit down with a person for an individual person with a certain amount of time and get their feedback on the software. Finally, we can use surveys, which are basically just like questionnaires, right? They can be online or they can be in person. And they're great because they're obviously really cheap to implement and very time efficient. We just send them out and have the users just fill them out. But if you don't construct them correctly, you may not get the information you want. It can often be hard to construct questions in a way that don't bias the user, but allow you to get the information you want. And also users may not just take it seriously. Like, when's the last time you've taken a survey seriously?